What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Week 5 is in the books of the NFL. We had a very interesting set of games, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to hop right into my power rankings heading into a very important Week 6. All right, so starting off with 32-22 in last at the 32 spot, I have the Carolina Panthers, who looked a little better. Their offense started to move the ball a little bit with Bryce Young, but that team is still not really ready to compete. I think everybody's jumping the gun on Bryce Young. Maybe not everybody, but some people are definitely jumping the gun on Bryce Young, maybe giving up on him already. I think this team just needs time to develop, build pieces, even though it seems like Frank Reich and the owner are not on the right page, so there is some dysfunction there, but I think they just need some time. But right now, they for sure the only winless team in the league now, and definitely the worst. At 31, the Patriots, I believe they've been outscored 72-3 in their past 2 games by the Cowboys and Saints, and that offense is a straight up mess. The defense is getting frustrated with the offense now, and this definitely is not what we're used to seeing from a Bill Belichick team, but I'm starting to think this might become the norm, at least for this year. Number 30, the Denver Broncos, who they took a loss to the Jets and Zach Wilson, obviously. And you can just tell something is just off with this team. Starting with Sean Payton down to Russell Wilson, it seems like their relationship's kind of testy. The team is responding to Sean Payton. And it's so funny now that Sean Payton said all that about Nathaniel Hackett. That was the worst coaching job he's ever seen. And the Broncos managed to look worse now. So I definitely have to keep an eye on the Broncos and how that mess unfolds. 29, the New York Giants, because they had a respectable loss, I guess, if there is one. The defense helped the offense out with that pick 6 and kept them in the game, but they're still having too many struggles with that offensive line and Daniel Jones kind of being tentative, and definitely the Giants are not in a good spot. 28, the Cardinals, who, again, they've shown to hang with some teams, some very good teams, but the Bengals came in and looked like their old selves, and when the Bengals are their old selves, the Cardinals really have no chance, so the Cardinals take that loss there. 27, I have the Bears jumping up 6 spots, which I believe is going to be the biggest jump on this list because they finally got that win, and they didn't just get the win. Their offense looked very good. 40 points, obviously. DJ Moore, 230 yards, and Justin Fields played very well. So I don't know if this is just an anomaly game. The past 2 games really have been an anomaly game for their offense, or have they finally figured it out? I guess time will tell. 26, I have the Commanders, who will drop 4 spots. And because they lost to the Bears, and really they have 2 wins, so it's kind of hard to put the Bears over them. But yeah, just they really didn't show up. I think just all the energy they put into the Eagles game, and then to come off a short week, they just didn't really look prepared to play that game. So I have the Commanders at 26. 25, the Vikings, but it's going to get a lot worse for them. They played a tough game, a close game against the Chiefs, but with Justin Jefferson now out and already 1-4, it looks really rough for the Vikings right now. By the time Jefferson even comes back, they're going to have to win a couple games to stay in it. So, yeah, I feel like this is going to be a very rough year for the Vikings now. 24, the Raiders, who look pretty good again, their win over the Packers on Monday Night Football, forced 3 picks from Jordan Love. So maybe this is something that could turn their season around. Was been a pretty bad season so far. We'll have to wait and see. The Rams at 23, dropping 4 spots. And the Rams offense looked very good against the Eagles in the first half. Cooper Kupp didn't miss a beat. They threw Puka in there. He had a touchdown. The offense looked good, but they just kind of stalled in the second half. So that's why they lost that game. And then 22, I have the Texans dropping 6 spots, which probably isn't really what they deserve after playing close games with the Falcons that they won by a field goal. But I put them down there because I think it's time maybe to pump the brakes on the Houston Texans, even though they played pretty well for what we expected from them coming this year. All right, here's 21-11. 21, we have the Colts that are going to jump up 4 spots after they played a tough division rival in the Titans and got their win. And now this is the second time Gardner Minshew's came in and won a game for them. And we'll just have to see what happens now because they're responding well to Gardner Minshew. I'm not trying to push a narrative that he should be starting over Anthony Richardson, but it seems like when Gardner Minshew comes in, this team does not miss a beat. So the Cardinals are there. The Packers dropped 5 spots, so I have them at 20 now because their offense has really struggled over the past couple games. Teams are starting to figure out blitz Jordan Love, put pressure on him, and he's really struggled. So we'll have to see how the Packers offense turns it around. Obviously, their defense is still going to be good. But at 19, the Jets jump up 4 spots, and now Zach Wilson's actually playing pretty well and keeping them in the game, not really making mistakes. So if the Jets keep playing like that, now they won't beat the Eagles next week. I'm going to go ahead and say that. But I do think that the Jets have a lot going for them, and maybe they could be a competitive team down the line if they can keep this up. 18, the Atlanta Falcons to jump up 3 spots, again over their win over the Texans. really rebounded. Their offense looked a lot better than that Jacksonville game, so they take a step up. 17, the Steelers, and if the Steelers had lost that game to the Ravens, they would have dropped a lot on my power rankings, but they found a way to win the game. But that offense still, George Pickens stepped up for them, and but Matt Canada needs to go. I'll just say that. Moving on to 16, now we have the Tennessee Titans, who are dropping 5 spots after their loss to the Colts. Kind of the same thing as the Texans. Not really a terrible loss, but maybe I'm just pumping the brakes a little bit on the Titans. But 15 have the Bengals, who, like I said before, they finally look like themselves. Joe Burrow had a really good game. Jamar Chase had 3 touchdowns. Won a fantasy game for my team in the league for me, so I appreciate that. But yeah, the Bengals definitely, that looked a lot like the old Cincinnati Bengals. 14 have the New Orleans Saints, who jump up 3 spots as well. When I first did this, I had them jumping up a lot higher, but I just kind of settled down a little bit. But yeah, obviously, you win a game 34-0, you deserve to move up. And it seemed like now that Derek Carr is back, a lot of their problems were fixed. So maybe this is a lot more we'll see from New Orleans Saints. 13 and 12, 13 the Buccaneers, 12 the Browns. They both were on bye, but since some teams lost, I had them move up a spot. And then to close out the 21-11, I have the Baltimore Ravens out of my top 10 because there's no way they should have lost that game to the Steelers. Like, the Steelers muffed upon the fourth quarter. They had the chance. Lamar throws the pick, and then they let the Steelers come back and win. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, the Ravens and Steelers always play tough, and it was in Pittsburgh, but just for me, it was more like kind of the way they lost that. It reminded me a lot of the Ravens from last year before Lamar got hurt. All right, let's get to the good stuff. At 10, I have the LA Chargers, who, yes, I do understand they didn't play and moved up 2 spots, but like I said before with the Ravens, I just feel like they should have dropped out of the top 10 for that. And I do think the Chargers, they stacked 2 wins together. They're starting to figure it out. Again, with the Chargers, it's always, if Brandon Staley just doesn't make just game-wrenching mistakes, the Chargers always have a chance against just about anybody. So the Chargers at 10. The Seattle Seahawks stay at 9 because they were on bye. Obviously, the Cowboys had the drop, and they dropped all the way to 8 for me after that blowout loss to the 49ers, and I think that goes without saying. The Jaguars jump up 3 spots for me as well after that win against the Bills in London. They just, I guess now that they played in London so many times, they played in London pretty much way more than everybody else. I feel like they kind of have an advantage whenever they play in London, but they played a great game against the Bills for sure. And their defense did a great job against Josh Allen and that electric Buffalo offense. And then at 6, Buffalo, I had them at 3 last week, so they dropped 3 spots for me. They just couldn't pull it out. It's a good Jacksonville team, and they almost came back and won the game. It just came up short. The Lions jump up into my top 5 for me. They've played so well. And I think the most surprising thing for me is just how well they ran the ball and how great David Montgomery's been for them. So, the Lions are starting to really look like a contending team, so props to them. At 4, I have the Dolphins getting back into the top 5 as well. They jump into the 4th spot after their win against the Giants. Just kind of, they were pretty relaxed. It was a pretty relaxing game for them. Nothing too crazy. They didn't go off for 70, but they just played a solid game and just beat a team who they were way better than. So they're at 4. 3, I have the Chiefs moving up a spot. Again, they played a close game against the Vikings. They're the Chiefs. They're always going to be a top team in the league, so I'll just kind of leave it there. And the top 2 for me is unchanged. The Eagles come up with a 23-14 win against the Rams. Solid win. Played a lot better in the second half. A lot of frustration for the Eagles. For some reason, the sideline, if you look at the sideline, it would have made you think they were an 0-5 team instead of a 5-0 team, but maybe it just shows those guys really care. So, but the Eagles get the win against the Rams, take care of business. And then how can the 49ers not be winning right now? Even I have to admit, after that big win against the Cowboys, they've been the best team in football all year so far. We'll have to wait and see if that holds up. So here is my power rankings for Week 6, heading into Week 6. And let me know what you guys think. Would you guys change anything up from this list? And I'll see you guys next time.